Every light on the dash came on. Steering wheel lit up like the crack of dawn. A real impromptu day, just kind of like coming together out of nothing. Take you through my day so far. Had every intention of working tonight. Slept in till noon almost, with every intention of getting in this truck, getting after it tonight. I was out doing. I picked up a 𝓵𝓪𝓼𝓱 shift the other night down at 𝓵𝓪𝓼𝓱, and it was the first time I'd cranked up the truck with everything happening with my dad and everything, in probably like in over a month. And I'll tell you, I loved it. It was just, it felt so good to be like back in the truck doing what I love. I mean, I've had jobs in the past that I liked. They were fine, but this was, being out here in the truck. I don't have Lou with me tonight, but he was with me the other night. I mean, it was just like, I love this stuff. I mean, I'll tell you, if I won the lottery tomorrow, I'd have to get probably better insurance to protect what I would be winning from the lottery, but I would still be doing this. I mean, I love this work, period. I mean, that's just all I could say about it. But after doing it the other night, everything was set with my dad for, as far as today and tomorrow, no appointments or anything like that. I'm like, I'm going to work. So I went ahead and slept in late, got up at noon, had to get to, tending to my YouTube channel. I haven't really been keeping up my end of the deal on that, just with everything going on, and sat out there, hammered out a couple videos, did a load board video for somebody, edited and got the explanation of where I've been, got that one posted and everything like that. So it kind of felt good to get that type of stuff done. Took Lou, fed him, took him out, took him down to the park, played with him for a little bit, got him wore out. So he's at home sleeping with the family. He's having a better night with them than he'd be having with me for sure. But came in, kind of wanted to get my head right, got on the, put in a little bit of work on the exercise bike, got a little spin bike down in the bedroom. Haven't been using it as much as I should. I noticed from my own videos, I feel like I'm getting fatter doing this. In fact, I don't feel like I am. I know I am. I'm the one who sees the results when I step onto that scale, and I see it in my face. I look at some of those videos of like when I first started this thing, and there's about 30 pounds more that have been added to today. And it's just kind of like, I look at that and it's like, man, you put videos out on YouTube and it's like, there's ones you're proud of, there's ones that do well, there's ones that don't do quite as well, and then there's ones that you're like embarrassed that you made. And it's like, that how to lose weight, man, that I might delete that. I don't know, that I'm definitely not living up to the stuff I speak of in that video. I know what to do, it's just can I get my lazy ass to do them? That's the other thing. It doesn't help that after all my dad's appointments, we're kind of like living like kings. Is like, if he feels like going and getting food, we're hitting up all our favorite restaurants. I mean, in the last week, I've been down to 𝓕𝓪𝓮𝓻 down in OB. We went to Blue Water Grill, had those bourbon scallops and their wonderful blue cheese dressing. I'm very food motivated. There's a chubby little fat kid inside of me trying to get out every day. And then hitting up In-N-Out whenever we can and everything. So if he's up to it, we crush some food after his appointments. Took care of Lou, fed the kids, made them burgers, did the stuff on the bike, got a little 20-minute session in there, just got the heart rate going, kind of got me into the mindset of working. Took a shower, got all cleaned up, and I was kind of at a crossroads, because it was about that time in the night that I found out my dad has to have like it's like an emergency MRI tomorrow, and they're trying to fit us in anywhere, and the furthest place from us, but obviously we're going to do it, was up in Oceanside. As soon as I heard Oceanside, that food motivation kicked in, and it's like, we're going to 𝓵𝓮 Grill. I'm getting some of that 𝓬𝓪𝓶𝓮 chicken that they make there. That stuff is just incredible. So anytime I'm in Oceanside, I definitely check them out. I'm not up there often, but I already sent them a text like, hey, this is what we're eating, just FYI, it'll be good, it won't disappoint you, I promise. So doing that. So I'm due at their house. They live in Spring Valley. I'm due at their house at 10 to get him to an 11:30 appointment. And after sleeping in until noon and kind of everything else going on, there was no way I was going to sleep tonight. I mean, I just knew it was like 9 o'clock at my house. And I'm like, I was telling my wife, I'm like, I know that if I just stay around here, I'm going to stay up till like 4 in the morning. I'm going to sleep from like 4 to 8:30, get up to take him, feel like crap. I might as well go out and make the most of my time. Now, I wish there were a way for me to, get in touch with Amazon and be like, hey, I'm available to you. I'm thinking, in the limited time that I have, I mean, if you can keep me in town, I'd be happy to run some loads for you. I'm thinking about $400 or $500 sounds about right for the time. But I also know that, like, you know, on their solo blocks, they're paying out like $450 right now. So that might be a little bit too high. They might want me for like $300. So I kind of go to my skill set that I've developed over working with them for this last couple of years. And it's like, unfortunately, there's nobody to call, but it's like, I'll play the game. I'll get the load board going. I'll start responding to some spot capacity. And so I did something I rarely do. I never, unless it's like prime days or holiday days, I don't ever stage. But I had such a good time in the truck the other night. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go fire up the truck, pre-trip it, be sure everything's good. I'm not going to go down to Otay because I don't want to pay that $550 toll on the 125 to just go down there and get nothing, because there was a possibility tonight that I go out and there's just nothing. And I told my wife, I'm like, listen, if I don't have anything by midnight, I'm just going to come home and try to go to sleep and everything like that. But was kind of hanging out at a gas station, talked to my buddy Terry on the phone. What up, Terry? I know he subscribes to the channel, kind of connected with one another. Always good to hear from you. So on a phone call with him, and just seeing what was out there, and they sent out spot capacity for Vista. Now, this wasn't until 3:50 in the morning, but it ended at a time that I can still make it to Spring Valley by 10. And I was like, they were offering, I think it was in the 400s somewhere. I responded back for 500. They called me.
Thank you for being on hold. I'm sending this note to you for $500, and if the time is 3:15, start looking LLC San Diego to San Diego round trip, okay?
That sounds good. Thank you. They tried to get me to come down. I'm like, listen, 500's kind of, I was sticking to 500 just because it's like, you know, that justifies me being out for a night. You know, I'll be tired tomorrow. That's fine. And so they agreed to that. And then while I was on the phone call with Terry, they drop another one, a quick little, I was still in El Cajon at the time. It was a Poway going down to San 3, just a single, not a one leg, but it was a one pick, one drop, basically. $200 for that. So coming out here tonight, I'm going to be, I probably still get about the same amount of sleep that I was always going to get. I know that if I had stayed at home, I'd start, you know, screwing around on the iPad, doing this, doing that, and I probably wouldn't have slept anyway. But as it is, $700 to run these two things. I just checked into Poway probably about 15 minutes ago. They said they're gridlocked. They're like, oh, we probably won't have anything. And I'm like, well, it's 11:24 right now. I'm like, will you have something? My arrival time here wasn't even until 12:05. And they're like, yeah, we'll have something by then. I was like, great. So I'm just sitting out here in the truck, like, loving this. There's some days where I kind of, not to sound so overly enthusiastic about it, but it's like, compared to what I'm used to doing for work, I'm giddy that this is how I make money now. I'm sitting in this truck talking to a GoPro camera that you're going to see the form, and this will turn out to you in the form of a video, and it's like, this is what I do. And you know, as soon as they get, I have no doubt that they'll have this trailer ready for me here. My arrival wasn't until 12:45. I don't think I'm supposed to depart here until like 12:45, so they still have an hour and 15 minutes to do this. I got the news, my little local news channel, streaming here on the iPad, doing that and just waiting for this trailer. But just a total impromptu night. I mean, this originally I was going to stay out later and, you know, look for longer trips, but basically this just keeps me in town. I'm going from, I started in El Cajon, which is where I live, where the yard's at, where I keep my truck, took the back way up to Poway, going down to Otay, then round trip from Otay up to Vista and back, and then we're going to call it a day. And I'm going to get to my dad's house, or my parents' house, no later than 10, and get him up to Oceanside and enjoy some delicious chicken later today. Let's address a couple common questions I get on here a lot. First one being, when do I sleep? That's a good one, actually. It is a question actually my own family has for me. But you know, I'll say this. I learned a lot about myself and kind of like what the mind, what the body is capable of. The last 3 years I worked as a pharmacist, I was a graveyard pharmacist. I worked at the Rite Aid in Hillcrest. And my typical day started at like 10 at night, and I got off at 8 in the morning. Those were Monday through Friday hours. And then if it was a Saturday or Sunday, I started at 8 at night, and I went till 8 in the morning. And, you know, during that time, having two kind of small kids in school, you know, still wanting to participate in their life, I learned a lot about myself. I learned that, you know, I kind of learned, I don't know if this is like an official term to it, but like I kind of learned how to bank sleep, in other words. So, no, like, I can go 2 or 3 days on like minimal sleep as long as there's like an every third, and if I really want to push it, maybe like a fourth day where I can just like sit around and do nothing. I mean, I will sleep, I will rest, take a nap on the couch, do whatever. But you know, on a day like today, basically I've been up since noon yesterday. It's now 1 in the morning, so what, like 13 hours? That's nothing. I mean, I slept in late with the intention of working tonight. What I didn't plan on was going to this thing with my dad tomorrow, and definitely got to do that. And once I get into my mind that, like, okay, I'm gonna work at 10 a.m. I'm due at their house, gonna take him up to Oceanside, eat lunch, come back. It's like I kind of, the idea of being tired just kind of gets out of my head. It's just kind of like there's not, if I didn't have that thing with my dad tomorrow, I'll be honest, at 1 in the morning, I'd probably be like, oh, it sounds pretty good to go home and sleep right now. But knowing that that's not a possibility, like, I just don't let that thought enter into my mind. I do. I mean, yeah, I don't want you to think that I'm up every day at 6 in the morning, out walking the dog, doing all that stuff. I keep the most bizarre hours of anybody you probably know. I mean, I might, like on a day like today, I'm for sure going to be up for 24 hours. And then, what's today, Tuesday? Yeah, I'm going to say that my Wednesday is probably going to be shot. I'm just going to be laying around the house, napping, resting. And then when I do finally, and, you know, I know when I've got enough rest, when I do get enough rest, then, you know, of course, check on my dad. If he's good, then, you know, I'll get out here and get after it in the truck. But it definitely, like, I definitely bank sleep. You know, I'll have like 2 or 3 really superb days, and then I'll calm down for a day, and then just kind of, it's like rinse and repeat. The other big question I get on here a lot is how come I never do blocks or contracts? I just took a look at them. I mean, I think there's like 12 or 13 on there for right now tonight. And basically it's like there's the solo one, which is paying like sub $400. And then there's like solo twos paying like close to $1,000. If you're not familiar with what those are, it's 13 hours of driving. That's a solo one. And then a solo two is you do, or I said 13 hours of driving. It's 13 hours of on duty, 11 hours of driving. A solo two is where you do that 2 times with, they give you an 11-hour break in there in the middle so that you can take your 10-hour reset. So it's basically you obligating yourself to work for Amazon for 13 hours of on duty, 11 hours of driving. I've never done one. Talked to plenty of people who have, and typically the response that I hear back from these people is, on average, they ask you to drive about 350 miles a day. The problem I have with them, I just feel like I'm leaving too much money on the table. I've always fared better doing the load board. You look at a night like tonight, this was totally impromptu. I kind of left my house and checked on the truck with nothing booked. And, you know, picking up Vista for $500, got that one that kind of paid me to come down to Otay in the first place, that little $200 run from Poway down to Otay. It's like, okay, there's $700. Now, this isn't going to be 350 miles of driving. This isn't going to take 11 hours of driving. I mean, from Poway down here was like less than an hour, and then that Vista round trip I'll probably get done in like 2.5 hours. So you figure, let's call that 3.5 hours of driving for $700. Vista's like 110 miles. Poway down here was like 40. So let's call that 150 miles, $700. That's what the load board and spot capacity brought me tonight. Having to do this for 8 more hours and have another 200 miles to run for a payout of, I think the solo ones were paying like $350, something like that. And here's the thing, they say on there they pay accessorials and a fuel surcharge. That fuel surcharge is 48.5 cents a mile. Now, I'm not going to try to do the math. My math brain isn't with me right now, but you figure if the average price of fuel in California is like, let's just say $5 a gallon. I know somebody out there is going to be like, I get a discount and da-da-da. That's fine, but let's just call it $5 a gallon. Now, a truck like mine, hauling Amazon loads, I'm probably getting about 8 miles to the gallon. You start calculating that out and seeing that, like, you know, what is my cost to run a mile? My cost to run a mile in this truck exceeds 48.5 cents a mile. So that means that for every mile they ask me to run, I'm actually going to be losing money. Now, in their defense, the fuel surcharge is not meant to compensate you 100% on your fuel. But, you know, the fact that that's a nationwide fuel surcharge and I live in expensive California doesn't make sense for me. So on that $350 payout, if they ask me to run 350 miles, and you figure on each mile I'm losing about a quarter, my 350 for my 13 hours on duty, 11 hours of driving is quickly going to turn into $200 and change. And that's just not, I mean, I see the allure of them, of saying like, hey, you don't have to think. You just, it's a guaranteed payout. You don't have to watch the load board. You don't have to respond to spot capacity. This is just your thing. That's fine, but how much are you giving up for that convenience? And for me, it feels like I'm leaving too much money on the table. In order for a block, to make sense to me, the payout would probably have to be closer to like $1,000, and I wish that fuel surcharge were higher, but the reason I don't do it, and then like what a contract is it's just a series of blocks over, you know, a week or weeks at a time. So, you know, if that sounds like something that interests you, they're always available. They're readily available. I've never seen them. There has been times where they haven't had blocks, but they always have contracts. But that's why I don't do them. I mean, a night like tonight, if I had signed up for this and this had been a block, in order for me to walk out with the same $700, the block rate probably would have had to be close to like $800. And when their block rate's $350, it just doesn't make sense. I'm doing one of those important little things right now. It's Amazon, you know, they're always going to catch up on these little things. I just pulled into 𝓵𝓪, got checked in, nobody talked to me, it just came up on the screen to go to 309. Now they have a sign when you get in here that says, be sure trailer doors are open. There's nobody out here by me. They probably wouldn't know if I opened the doors or not. However, that sign being there, I'll give you a little insight. Of course, I need two hands when I'm holding the camera. I have heard them when I've been doing the trailer hostler gig. There's been two things. When I do that, I have a radio that they provide me, and there's been a couple things that I've heard them say to people, or say over the radio, which is like, hey, remind the blue truck leaving at the exit to open the trailer doors. They just dropped off and they didn't do that. Well, you got caught. And then the other thing is, you know, speeding inside these yards. I can't tell you how many times I've had that walkie-talkie with me and they've said, blue truck leaving, says stat trucking. It's not really me, but somebody else will say like, let's put a safety violation on their VRID. They're hauling ass back here in the back or something like that. So when people get in touch with me, just realize the lighting's probably terrible. When people get in touch with me and they say, hey, I got suspended from Amazon and they gave me no reason or something like that, I don't want to be accusatory, but at the same time, it's like I do see the little things that they pay attention to. So just a tip out there, you know, you go into a facility, it says open the trailer doors, open the trailer doors. You never know who's watching. And then, you know, as far as obeying the speed limit in their yards, I would highly encourage you to do that. Let's get this trailer into 309. So here's where the night gets interesting. Just finished the last load, just dropped it off at 𝓵𝓪, was pulling out of their gate. It is 6:09 right now, and I mean, the blessing in disguise here is this happened just down the street from where my mechanic is, but got out of there and my dash lit up like a Christmas tree. I mean, I've got a ABS, a check engine, a check transmission. It's telling me the transmission is failing. I've had this happen before, but not with the check engine light come on. And I know the transmission isn't failing because if I put it into gear here, it will still go forwards and still go backwards. So I looked up all the, let's swing this camera around here. I looked up all the error codes, there's like 20 of them, and it sounds to me like the ABS modulator is not communicating with something, with everything. I typed in all of them into Google. This might be where it would help to know more about trucks. This is definitely, I mean, I will fully admit, I don't know a lot about these things. I've never really had a reason for being mechanical, but I'm trying to learn as much as I can, as fast as I can, but that's what I'm dealing with. PTR, my mechanic, opens up here at 8 o'clock, so I was gonna, you know, I was gonna, if this hadn't have happened, I would have been like, man, now all I gotta focus on, the loads are done, I just gotta focus on not having any downtime. Like, once I get home, if I have downtime, that's where I'll get tired. I'm not gonna have downtime anymore. So, like I said, the blessing in disguise is the Amazon loads are done. If we go in here, we'll just do like a little blind reaction to my grade. Let's just see here. Performance. both of them, and that 𝓵𝓲𝓰 one got done like a couple hours early. I think I wasn't even supposed to be back till 7:15. I was dropping it off at like 5:45. Let's change this to the last 7 days. Apply that 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%. So that's where I like to keep it. I did see a load coming back. I mean, had this all not happened, had I not had this stuff planned later for my dad, they had a decent little run up to Chino. It was like $560, close to $600, but I saw that. But that's neither here nor there, because I got to be there to take my dad at 10. How this is going to play out, they're going to open at 8. I'm going to drop the truck off and probably Uber to their house and still make it there by 10. So that's the plan is still on. More to come on this whole Amazon grade. They've been changing some stuff lately, and I mean, there is some, I don't want to make myself sound too great, there is some skill involved in this, but the more they keep rolling out, the more it's just like luck too. I mean, it's just like, it's just, I mean, I don't want to sit there and make it sound like I'm so good with this 100%. I have the 100% partially 50-50 because of luck. So I'm going to dig into that a little bit more, but right now, I got a couple hours. Gonna walk up to 7-Eleven here. Hopefully they can get or I know they'll be able to take the truck. I have no expectation it'll be done today, and I have no expectation it'll be done by 10. So Uber to my parents, and then this is the paid part of my night. Getting ready to spend some money, I'm sure. But then the most important load I have today is getting my dad up to Oceanside. So that's the next step in this. Every light on the dash came on. Steering wheel lit up like the crack of dawn. Saw that check engine light. Made my balls drop, give me a real good fright. Yeah, every light in the dash is on. Alright, made it to the little car, 8:51. I tricked my sister into coming down and picking me up. You talk about the free Uber, I'm gonna definitely owe her a lunch or something like that. But truck's down at PTR. So glad that the lights came on when I was close to there. Hope you like my song. Due at my parents in an hour. Next stop, Oceanside. Give my dad that MRI, and then go have some of that Chamorro style fried chicken. Can't wait. That's what's keeping me going right now. I'm very food motivated. We made it. Been up for 24 hours and 45 minutes. Just got to get this guy home. This has been my reward all day. I'm just getting to this food. Definitely going to do some follow-up on the truck, you know, what's wrong with it, everything like that. I'm curious to find out that stuff. With everything else going on, I don't really even care at this point, but definitely follow up on that. Not a bad little night, considering that everything came together after 9:20 last night. I mean, I left my house to kind of stage just to see what I could get, and fun little night. Still got to everywhere I needed to be. The truck kind of breaking down was the wild card, but more to come on that later. As always, appreciate you for watching. Hope this video serves you well. Take care.
Every light on the dash came on. Steering wheel lit up like the crack of dawn. Saw that check engine light. Made my balls drop, give me a real good fright. Yeah, every light in the dash is on.